You're the
Yo,
beginning
yo,
intro
yo,
guy.
yo, what up, everybody?
More energy.
Yo, guys, what's up, yo?
Not as much energy.
All right, guys, I'm not the peppiest person. Goddamn, my name has dark in it.
This is true. This is very true.
So, but what's good? What's up, y'all? This is like episode 4.
We're not even really doing episodes anymore.
Oh well,
it's just
another entry
release, yes.
of the den.
This release.
Of the den. So, if y'all didn't know, last Wednesday, Ironheart issue 1 came out.
And y'all do not know this yet, but I going up to this point have not been very open about the different things. I stayed in my comfort zone. I like the things I like. Why wouldn't I read? Why would I read other things? Because I like these things. But it has been shown to me going forward now that was a little silly. I like reading different things. I like getting the different little iterations of things you can get, and he helped me greatly with that.
I'm Batman.
They're not Batman.
Okay.
But
if I think it's been stated through multiple videos on this channel that I am big into legacy, right? I'm big into legacy characters. I'm big into heroes building mantles and mantles passing. One of the reasons why Miles Morales was big for me because Spider-Man never really had that. This is big for me, for Tony, because Tony's never had a kid responsibility kind of thing yet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and he doesn't need to have one.
I mean, yeah, but I mean...
That's why I like that she's she's independent as she is, because her mentor is not the type to just be around.
But I mean, the closest thing to that, if you've ever... Like, their relationship to me so far... Like, I was reading something from Generations. There was another issue that came out after Secret Empire. Or something like that. She met Sorcerer Supreme Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And they were just talking. And just their personality, she kept saying, like, why does air taste funny? You know what I'm saying? She's asking the question, and Tony's being Tony, doing his side thoughts, his sidebar thoughts in his head. And she's doing the same thing. And it's like bouncing off each other so perfectly. So, and that's 126-year-old Tony Stark at that time.
126-year-old?
You got to read the issue.
Okay.
But getting back on topic, I have been looking forward to this book for the better half of a year. Especially, I knew it was coming before it was announced. I mean, I'm not saying I had like a connect or anything, but I just knew logically they were leading up to something for it.
I have no previous history. Like, any opinions that I ever had about it previously were things that I've read secondhand.
A little bit of like background to why we're actually doing this issue focused on Reaver besides her issue coming in.
Yes.
This came into the fact that yesterday I was just on YouTube and I was reading reviews. I didn't necessarily agree with some of the perspectives that
Do we know his name?
Yellow Flash.
Yellow Flash, cool.
And then,
it's a Yellow Flash video.
So
check him out if you want. It's fine. But in our opinion, some of the opinions were a little.
I felt like he just didn't connect with the book, and for various different reasons, my own personal reasons, and that I'm not going to vouch that on the channel. I want that to be coincide with the channel's views or whatever, but I felt a certain way about certain things that he was saying about the characters. Now, granted, I went back down and did some research. He's negative on everything. So, I guess that's his thing. Yeah. But in this particular venue, certain parts of this book, I felt were really, really good parts of the book. And
I will also throw in that I had a negative opinion of Reeve coming in. It's not like I sat down and read this and expected it to be. I expected it to be negative, not to be a good issue. Reeve kind of sucked to me the little that I did know about her. So I don't think that it's two people just jumping on. They were just on board with Riri.
So you have basically somebody who has loved Riri since her dawning, since Bendis made her. Because that was like I never really had read a Tony Stark series from the start till Bendis got on, and I love the art because they made it anime-ish, ways to do his armor.
Bendis gets a bad rap sometimes, but I think he's fucking good.
But I was interested because I am somebody. I will say this. I will jump on the ledge and say this. I am somebody who I do feel like when people are written by people who have similar backgrounds to the characters that they are, life-wise, not just race or anything like that, but just general upbringing, things like that. I feel like they touch with the character better. They add that wrinkle that somebody who...
You got that little extra, like, sprinkle that makes it, like, special.
Like I said, the reason why Tom King's run on Grayson was good is because he was a damn spy.
It's all right.
It's great.
Some people like it. I didn't kind of like it.
There's so many different things you had to watch. You had to read.
It's convoluted. It's too much shit.
But if you're flowing with the month, if you're flowing month to month, it's not you don't get lost.
Maybe.
But if you're going back and reading graphic novels, it gets confusing. But to the point. His opinion was just really, really negative. Like granted, he did say.
Let's not. It wasn't wholly
the
negative.
first half. He said his exact words were the first half of the book. The book should have ended at a certain point in the book where I felt like he left off half her day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now, I will say, before I smoked, I agreed with him.
This is true.
But after I smoked, and I sat down and I was reading the words, like,
it was funny.
Fucking good.
Because when I first saw it, I hit Mr. Abyss up and I was like, yo, and I was like, I already told him yesterday, you're going to agree with half the shit he says. And he was like,
right.
oh, you don't know. I was like, you're going to agree with half the shit what he says. And then Lord and behold it, he did. But I had to stop him and break down some things to him on why I'm fighting, letting him go away without changing his opinion. Like, I don't do that type of thing unless it's something there. So, to the point, what's her name? Pull up the cover again. Her name's, I know her last name. Eva.
Eve Ewing.
Eve Ewing is I don't know too much about her background. I don't know she has a science background. She's a novelist, right? So this is her first stint as a comic book writer. Right?
I would like to know what she did before this. Some things we should research.
You should look her up. I know typically Marvel has been really good at taking stabs at grabbing novelists to write stories. From it either be James Patterson. They did it with
she's an artist too.
With she's fine as hell too.
Yeah, she is pretty. She looks like Riri.
Oh well, shout out. I'm married. I forgot. My fault. Eve Ewing, she's doing a great job. She's a little bit of background.
Not knowing a single thing about her and just reading the issue, you're a good writer, from what I can tell. Like,
so I guess that goes into the first thing is the cover. The cover itself.
Yeah, give your thought about it.
I never have really been somebody that really just focused on what's a bad cover or not. When I think about it, in 10 years since 2008, when I started reading comics again, I mean, I'll say, oh yeah, I'll say things like that comic, that particular cover was cool or particularly better than most, but I've never said one was
like it matters in the issue.
Yeah, I never really. If I was following that series and that was the cover, that was the fucking cover.
It's almost okay. So I like to do a lot of art. I like to color things. Please check out our YouTube page. You're already on it, so you should check out the rest because I have a couple coloring videos. So you should watch it. But it doesn't have anything to do with the story. It's not shouldn't be pertinent to whether or not you enjoyed the issue.
And honestly, I'm so desensitized to covers because I've been laid astray from covers for years now.
Look at the water on this cover issue. Perfect. It's beautiful. The reflection. Her only thing weird is perspective. Whoever drew it was a guy or a girl. I don't know that.
But I think the thing they were trying to do was really just focused on her symbol. Really trying
her
to
symbol's terrible. Symbol's terrible. It's just, dude. I don't even know what it is.
I mean, I like her suit.
Her suit's cool. Her suit.
I like her take on Iron Man.
It's fucking great. Like you said, the color. It's like you made Pink badass.
Yeah,
she's badass.
And I like I said, it's the thing that attracted me to this book so far visually, or the same thing that attracted me to the business book with Tony.
Yeah.
So that was cool enough for me. I don't really get too big in cover.
And in the end, the cover.
But I will agree with people who, such as Mr. Abyss and.
But like I said, I don't hate
And Yellow Flash.
It was still beautiful.
Oh yeah, with Yellow Flash, I agree. Now that I look at it, like her legs did look weird.
It looked weird. The neck was. But that's like.
But
I only feel this way because I studied it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not an artist like that, so I can't draw to save my mom's life.
Like if I just look at it, it's great. I can look at it and say the neck looks weird, but I can't do that now.
Exactly. So for me, that's not something I would hold against a book.
It shouldn't. And I'll put like an X, like that shouldn't matter.
So I felt like he held on. I mean. And I put my executive hat on. He talked about a lot of things an executive would talk about, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I had no problem. That's his opinion. But when you was talking, when he got to the, goddamn, I'm getting ahead of myself. But let's go into that's the cover. Make a long story short, cover was I get the cover about for me I give it a 6.
I liked it.
You know what I'm saying? So 6, 7. You know what I'm saying?
I give it a 5.
I like the colors. I like the water looked cool. I feel like they showed the helmet off really well. And I like the lettering. Going into the introductory part
compared
of the book,
to like other really badass covers, like no.
Now, the one thing I do like that they finally did, and he was saying, Yellow Fox was saying how they retcon some things, and I don't think they retcon things. I think some of the things about her origin was implied.
Yeah,
you got to pull it up. Let me see that. Let me read that. I want to read this. So, for you guys that don't know,
I went into this I don't know her history. This is for me. This is issue 1.
Oh shit!
Which it is, but like you know what I mean.
What I do? I went back. Oh no! Why'd I go back? Your phone sucks.
My phone's so good. You're just like an
I go
iPhone noob.
See how I can do that? Back page.
I can do that
forward.
too.
No, yours should just brought up some weird sidebar thingy. Yeah.
Oh, I should cut that off. It should do.
Yeah, you can't do shit.
But that's why it shows it.
Yeah,
that's because I can do that. I just have it cut off.
You got to open up a tab.
I just have it cut off, dude.
Thank you. I'm Batman. He can stop denying me.
But see, like I'm the god of this. I control the narrative.
All right. Anyways, all right. So
I'm the media.
I think they finally like clear cut her overall goal as a hero. Now that was a thing that
I don't know what her goal is.
So we had conversations about Riri. This is another reason why we're doing this video is because I have an opinion. I've always felt strongly about her character introduction. There's been people on the web that have said certain things about her actions as a rookie, noob, beginner hero. They said certain things about her. And I felt like a lot of the things, and it's another reason I'm going to address that eventually in the third part of the book, that people are not connecting with who she is and who she's written in the light of.
Okay, yeah, we got to save it for that.
So, I mean, going into the introduction, it said Riri Williams was a young girl who was dreamed of being an astronaut. That's very new information.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
I didn't even read that. I apologize for not reading that. Where was that?
It's at the top. Every comic has this thing.
Okay, all right.
Everything's matters. If it's on the page, it matters.
I didn't see it though.
Yeah, so never really knew that. They never really got a chance to address that. But I think I have a logical explanation on why they never addressed that.
That's why she flies in the sky.
Until her, she had a dream of becoming an astronaut. Until her best friend and her stepfather died. If you did not know, Riri's from Chicago, South Side Chicago, very tough neighborhood. Her father was killed in gun violence. Her stepfather, who stepped up, married her mom, raised her. 18 minutes or nothing.
It's already been that long.
It's a great issue, dude. People are really.
I was hoping like the whole video.
But no, but people, I ain't gonna lie. This is gonna be a live video because this ain't gonna lie. This is gonna be the next video that pops for us. Just watch what I say. Until her best friend, her stepfather died. They got shot through the heart. Another reason why her name is Ironheart. She chose the name Ironheart to separate herself from Tony Stark. Right? Chicago already said that. She reached. How she became a hero is she had a scholarship at MIT. She's super genius, so she graduated high school early. Apparently, she reverse engineered the prototype Iron Man suit.
Oh, we need the history.
That's it.
Let's just review the issue.
I mean, that's it. That's all I'm saying. But I think I said that was something they didn't clear up.
For me, issue number
it's
1 is
important because that's something that he said that was negative because a lot of people's take on her because they've rushed her. But what a lot of people don't know is that when she first came out, Michael Bennett's run was interrupted by Secret Empires and Civil War II. So it was like you couldn't tell a complete story because you have to do tie-ins with every fucking body, right? But anyways, going to the first part, she's some diplomats.
Yeah, so they end up having a little thing where she walks into her own that's the room she works in, right?
Yeah, her lab.
She walks into her lab and it's filled with people. This is a fucking lab. It's probably not something she's used to having happen. But she comes in and she is told by is that her like her teacher or?
It's something like the dean.
It's like the dean of their school that's leading the diplomats around. Since she is, I guess, like a prize student, she's a young genius. Let me show her off to these diplomats. But Riri's not ready for that.
So Riri just like can't give me a heads up so I could like clean up maybe and like.
This is her work. Yeah, keep in point. This is her workspace.
You gotta think about it, and she's very much like Tony in the sense that this is
her sacred ground. Like
this is where I decompress it. This is where I go to relax. And you're parading me like an animal, low key.
Yeah.
To a bunch of diplomats to prove your point. So then they start to ask her questions about some of her experiments, and she's telling this thing about this.
They do it really well. It very well to show you like what the diplomats are concerned about is the flashy, shiny shit.
So.
When she's explaining the actual badass invention she has,
something that incorporates microscopic scale and analysis,
but they don't even care about it
at all. They don't know about her because she fly. And so, of course, like a sassy teenager, she has some smart remarks. So they go through that, and then, make a long story short, one of her things go off, and so some diplomats will get killed
in her lab where she's experimenting. Her experiment defaulted. It did something a little weirder than normal.
And then she got yelled at. She got yelled at by one of the diplomats. So she was like, "Yo, you weren't supposed to be here anyways."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like,
this is where I work. This is where I try that shit out.
So people talk about how she's so cold-hearted and doesn't have feelings or
This
emotions.
Riri, okay, I'll go ahead and admit my opinions, as I said before on Riri, were literally what I've read about her. She's not unemotional. She's
very emotional.
Yeah, that's all she is. She's a ball of emotion. And she's walking around trying to control that when she really, I don't know if she wants to.
And that goes back to being a 15-year-old girl. I just became a superhero. I literally just fought in a superhero world war. I literally, my mentor low-key died. I had to fucking
I didn't even really get him as a mentor.
The only person that mentored me at the time was Mary Jane Watson and Dr. Doom.
Which, let's all go ahead and agree, is the only fucking leadership she needed.
And then I had the AI version of Tony Stark in my head for months.
It's badass AI though.
So, okay, and then I had to go travel with the champions. I haven't had time to myself in 2 years. So, or a year. I think it's been like a year's time. So eventually,
as the meeting's going on, everything's happening. The diplomats are there. That event happens. Some shit goes down outside.
So, something goes back. She gets to, something happens at where the diplomats are at. So she goes. So she flies out of her what's it called. It's a really nice scene showing off her suit.
Yes, this spread, and we'll have it here. It's beautiful, dude. Man. It's very anime. It's her posing in front of a background. It's cool. I love it.
So they decide to go ahead and roll out Clash from Spider-Man as one of her first roles.
And he's the one that actually told me that he was an original, like a character from something before. Mm-hmm. I like him. He's smart. Like, he ends up arguing with one of the diplomats or talking about it because it's a hostage. Mm-hmm. I liked his whole monologue with him. Like, it's cool. He's doing it for a reason to show himself off. I want these people to bring me in. Like, it's cool.
So as she's technically, these are all beta type suits she has on. So as she's testing to go in the fight, she's low-key field testing her equipment.
It gives a better reason as to why her suit will be changing. And this isn't the final suit, nor is it the second suit.
Until they find something that really, really hits.
Yeah.
And incorporates everything.
And even then, they'll change it up. That's what Iron Man can do.
Also, I know you might probably thinking, does she have an AI like Friday or Jarvis? She does. We'll get to that. But in the issue, one of the diplomats asked her that. Did she have an AI? And she was like, not yet. I didn't want to just make anything. I wanted to try something groundbreaking. So she's running a program that's supposed to basically analyze her brainwaves subconsciously and in emotional high-stress situations and have an AI that reacts totally opposite to that.
Yeah.
It's funny how they tie that up at the end. But anyway, she goes back to trying to break in and help him, and she's fixing one of her boots. Clashes like he's having an argument.
By the way, after the rereading, it's my favorite scene in the whole thing. That's what I love about her the most, that she stopped down and she sat down and her suit is so not like fully finished yet that she has to tweak it before you can go into battle based on her strategy in her head. That's fucking cool. I love that.
So I think Clash is cool. Doesn't really have that much. He's not that stuck to Spider-Man. I think he fits.
I think he fits her better.
Yeah. And I think that I guess.
Oh, that was my favorite part of the whole issue. I'm sorry, I'll bring that back.
So, Clash said that he was looking for. He's trying to join the 10 rings. The 10 rings. What I didn't know is that the 10 rings was in all 3 Iron Man movies.
See, I still haven't confirmed this yet.
I'll send you the article later on tonight, and whatever. I'm gonna go back and watch the movies now to make sure that. But they said it started off with Ebenezer or whatever his name is, Ebediah in the first one, and then Ivan in the second one, and then Justin Hammer and Ivan, and then the dude from the third movie, the Extremis, right? So they said that this is the first comic.
See, this sounds like one of those things to me where like they didn't actually plan everything, but someone made a really good theory, so let's go with it.
Whatever. We'll have to verify that.
Because if you planned this out, that's kind of nuts.
But I mean, like, they never used it. It's like Quarter Hours being used in a Batman movie. You'd be kind of crunk about that because it's never been used.
So badass.
Of course. So, but apparently that was an Iron Man movie. So this is the first time they've ever going to be introduction in a comic in print. So then they're giving it to Riri. So that's pretty cool. Something Tony Stark hadn't even beat yet. So I mean, but back to the scene he was talking about, or he's talking shit to a
he does the general
villain
monologue thing. Where he's just going off some shit, but his reasons why he's doing this.
But she has a lot of. She's Tony. Like, wow, you have history with Spider-Man, and now you're going to be part of what? What did you call it? computer, I need you to blueprints to build it. So she's doing Tony like sidebar talk shit to you, be sarcastic, you're dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm all the while I'm calculating.
Here's the personality that people said she lacked. He's going off, but all she is caring about is analyzing the room. Like, she's not even listening to this fucker talk.
But what I also like is that the science. She know what a rectal scan does, or it was a big word for retinal scan. She got the diplomat in there. Class uses sound waves.
Yeah.
So what she did was she broke a water main and had everybody get underwater so to balance out the sound so it wouldn't hurt them. Eventually, it's a really nice fight. It's really Iron Man-y.
Yeah.
With the way she
her
flies
strategies
around.
are really, really thought out. She's a smart fucking. She's a child genius.
And look, look at the burst. She's not throwing beams like
She's
Tony.
throwing sound at him. Or what the fuck?
Yeah,
Is that her? Oh,
it's
damn.
repulsor waves. She's not throwing a wave.
tiny ones.
She's throwing tiny ones. And
It's like in Bleach when they use Sero, but they use Bara instead.
this is a really good pose. Really, really classic Iron Man right here. Really classic Iron Man stuff right there. Got them all safety. Boom. Fight them. Yep. Really beautiful first scene of hers. And then she beats him by electrocuting him. The same way she got the water. She used a lot of science in this. I mean, it's basic IPC, but...
It's really well done.
But
once again, the writer
well.
did a good job.
There's a really good scene where he basically tells her that they're not that different. And the 10th rings, he hands her this little circle disc with some symbols. And she flies off. She has this monologue about how people don't see her. So
here is where we come to...
This is the good stuff. It's the good stuff.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's the good stuff.
Well, I'm talking about this is the good stuff as in...
Yes.
So, this is for me.
This is the debated thing.
For me, is the strongest part. Because this is where you see all the things that people complain about her. Her emotions, her past, all these different things that she wanted to see. You see that there's a point in time she was genuinely a happy kid, right? So you see a pose of her flying a kite. This kite thing is actually, it's in like every little part of her origin. So this is like, if she gets big, this is like the pearls from Bruce.
Okay.
So it's showing her dad, her stepdad, so Natalie, I think. And she's pretty much, like kind of like drifting into sleep.
This is post, I just fought a fucking villain.
Yeah, she's tired. She's at her lab. She gets she's working. She gets a phone call. Kind of wakes her up. Shuffle through. Starts seeing her personality through some of her junk.
Now, I do want to interject before we continue. Though I like the scene, I don't think it was in the right spot. I think it was kind of...
You could have did this in the morning
Yeah.
before everything happened. Or you could have did this right before...
Like, maybe it
might have been better if you did this particular scene... I had this scene right when the diplomats walked in. Yeah. Arguably, it could have flowed better, and it ended like you said, ended where she was.
Because you have all this, it's going up, it's getting more and more and more, and then it just drops.
But you got to see what style of what she's gonna write it. So I mean, both of those work out well. But waking up from a dream and you're not really having
it's not a bad. Like, it makes sense. It's not a bad.
It's not a deal breaker.
If we had to nitpick something, that could be the nitpick.
And that's where my problem was, because the dude's review was pretty much like ours, outside this particular part of the cover. So she suffered through her, gets her phone. You start seeing that she like it's some book that JB knew. Mr Abyss knew.
Cosmos, not Cosmos with the current guy, but the one before that was in like the 80s, I think.
Then you see a Avengers 4 Hulk Funko.
Yeah, it's just cool. Like, you got a little bit about who she is in a couple panels.
So boom, she gets a phone call. You know what I'm saying? Phone guy from a guy named Xavier, somebody from Chicago. No, she's not. She's in Washington right now, so she's not in Chicago. It's 2:00 in the morning, and you get a phone call. You were just asleep.
Who of us is happy to take a call at 2 a.m.?
So he's like, "How you been?" She's like, okay. Hello, Xavier."
2 a.m. is usually reserved for emergencies.
Yeah, like, what do you call me for? He was like, "Well, good evening to you too." Like, typical trying to be charming teenage guy stuff, and I appreciate it for one. He's like, "You free tomorrow?" She's thinking like it's like a random date, so she's shocked. Right? And she was like, whatever. So get to the point, like, basically the small talk. His mom and her mom were at his house, and her mom told her to call her and check on her. His mom told him to check on her. There we go. I'm sorry. So they have a talk, and then eventually they connect over Star Trek visors. Right?
Which is on our desk.
So apparently, like, a couple parts of this is just him small talking. It's an awkward situation. you're a 17 or 16-year-old, and your mom's making you call some girl that's a fucking superhero now. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, and I'm calling like at some random hour. Like, thanks, mom, and her mom like kind of setting me up. So he kind of bullshitted his way through it until she kind of like, hey yo, like any strong woman would do that if you're wasting her time at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
and especially don't let her be cute. And what the fuck do you want? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Is it a booty call? Or what are you trying to do? I mean, I'm not trying to sexualize teenagers either. You know what I'm saying? Abstinence. Practice it, kids. But yeah, so she calls him out, and then while she's calling him out, he knows her that she has a Star Trek visor on her desk. And he's like, oh, you like that? So they start talking, like, so he started blushing, like, yeah, I really like Star Trek.
See, I can't understand why someone wouldn't like this.
And so, like, she's like...
super uninteresting.
And she's like, this scene right here is so Tony Stark, right? She's like, cosplay. It's a cosplay. It's a cosplay. It's for cosplay, okay? Another loser thing that I like to do because I'm a nerdy loser with no friends. Well, I actually kind of like Star Trek.
This was my problem with why it came at the end. And it's not a good way to end an issue. It's not.
Well, no. I feel like, but you didn't know who that was.
But that doesn't matter. There's going to be people that pick the issue up and they don't know anything.
True.
And I ended with 4 pages of this.
But I think if you're 50% for that, you have the me of the worlds, and you have you. I mean, you're 50-50.
Yeah.
At least you have him. At least you're here now. At least you're not saying the things you were saying before the issue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so now all the things that I know, you'll find that out. Because now you start reading this issue, and I was like, maybe I do need to go read Invincible Iron Man and see how this happened.
Probably still.
I mean,
Iron Man.
I mean, she took over the book. It was her book. Tony was in a coma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, she's like, yeah. She's like, you do? Yeah, I like the Next Generation because of whatever, some dude. But you have to watch Deep Space Nine? And she was like, so underrated. That's so Tony Stark. I know, man. So eventually they start talking out like teenage stuff. Like just talking, eventually that led to
it's a guy that called a girl in the middle of the night. He's trying to be charming.
And then they end up having a touching moment from Star Trek to hip hop, you know. Fast forward.
For an previously emotionless person,
it showed a lot about what she was into, who she was. And then eventually, you're establishing somebody who's probably going to be a recurring character in her book. So you get to know Xavier. Eventually, they wrap it up. She had to go to school. She had to go to work. And make a long story short, she's like she's still tinkering her suit. And then somebody pops up behind her, and she's like, and it's like a random AI. She's like, Natalie? So if it goes back to her beginning, talking about her brains were being analyzed, her brainwaves were being analyzed. So you saw in that dream before Xavier called her, she was thinking about Natalie and her dad. So I'm guessing a lot of her subconscious thoughts or whatever.
Whatever the computer identified that, like, she needs this person to be in her life.
To be the best version of her. And technically, that's what Friday and Jarvis is for Tony. Whatever they lack, empathy-wise or whatever, those two picked up for her.
Which is a really weird thing for a human to be so, like,
but they're futurists.
Unempathetic that the robot does it for you. That's interesting.
And that's Tony.
They're more robots than robots.
And you end the issue with Natalie coming back as AI, or the essence of Natalie. And then you read the next issue basically saying, Ironheart tries to balance out her need for independence with her obligations at MIT, but when an old friend is kidnapped, she needs to make some tough decisions. Luckily, she got a brand new AI system on her side. I think that it was a great issue. Myself, I don't have a problem with anything that I read. I think we need more strong female characters, especially of color. I mean, that's just one of my stances. I have a little sister. I have nieces and goddaughters. For them to have something to identify with, or something like to love everything I love about Tony Stark, but to love it for who they see in the mirror, I feel like I feel like sky's the limit for Riri at this point. Issue wise, overall for myself, I give it for introductory, for jumping on point, not knowing much about her, because even me, I'm fuzzy on some of her history. If you read everything from every word of every book, from every page, I give it about 8.2, 8.5, 8. I give it 8.
Then my viewpoint would be as someone that knew nothing of her. Literally, this is issue 1 for me. Never read Riri. She's a good character. It's super interesting. I don't think I can give a number, but I would definitely read it again. It wasn't shitty. I got to see who she was. I got funny interactions. I chuckled a couple times in the comic. It was a fun read.
And then I also like the fact that they want you to go learn about her. At the end of the page, I'll tell you, they show the timeline. They tell you what issues to read, 9 through
I'll
14.
never read any of them.
But these are issues just about Riri. There's no Tony in this.
I still never did.
So like these are all important. Like Infinite Crisis, this is going on now. They're fighting with Gamora and shit like that. When she got training from Black Widow,
Which I'm just gonna go ahead and say, Infinity War is trash.
Man, I love it. She killed Thanos.
Cool.
She killed Thanos.
She didn't even kill him though.
He's dead.
He's still there.
Because he
Half my
fucking
issue
with
that's
her.
good about it is Thanos. He's the best part, just taunting her. Like, you think you killed me, dude? Fucking Thanos.
So whack.
It's not. Good issue. Good episode, I think. Good issue, good episode. I did enjoy it. Didn't think I would.
I feel like if you're gonna review something and you're gonna enjoy something, enjoy it with an open mind.
Yeah. Don't go into it looking for shit. It never ends up well. If I went into One Piece is my favorite thing on earth. If I went into that trying to analyze it, but like you can't analyze it.
For instance,
it's still perfect.
For My Hero, I went to My Hero with a certain expectation, and
It's just like
when I
went
just-
so far over that.
and when I just take it for what it is and not try to put Superman, Batman ties to every single person, I enjoyed it. Because at first I hated Ida.
Do yourself a favor. Yeah. Well, I can see that. Like Ida's a very like
The ideal of
anime trope. He's
you know what I'm
that
saying?
guy.
Yeah, and I hated it.
Yeah.
But I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
When I'm more and more like I might bop the character.
I enjoy Ida.
You know what I'm saying? So, but guys,
Yeah.
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know what you thought.
What,
Apparently, it's a controversial issue. I didn't think it was, but hey,
I think it was
is.
good enough issue to do a whole episode, a whole 30-minute thing about it. 40 minutes right now. But like I said, go get Ironheart 1.
Check it out.
Check it out.
At the worst, give it a fucking free read. Like it's not gonna waste your time. It was good.
I think, like I said, I'm interested in to see what they do next.
Yeah.
After they establish the series,
I want to know who her
because
Joker
Tony's
is.
back in his book, they have to give him some interaction with her.
Yeah,
Like they have to do it because that'll be.
there's gonna be some
it'll
event
really
that has to
fucking
require
weird.
both of their like attention.
And I think that's the next step for Tony Stark to have that sidekick. Like War Machine was a sidekick, but he was more of an equal. He's more of a Nightwing than he was a fucking.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Than like a Robin. Like this is somebody who's Ironheart, and she's destined in Generations. There's a part where she's fighting she's waking up. The new Avengers from this random world's like, Riri. I said, the suit looks ancient. Like Riri Williams, that's you. And it's like she's like, huh? Nobody knows my name. Nobody ever knows my name.
everyone knows your name.
Yeah,
You're the fucking one.
So I feel like they
But that's not always a good thing to do with a character. You have
put
set
that
her
much
up
expectation
that you can disappoint that easily.
Oh man, that's
We'll see what happens.
That's why you hire people like
I
this.
think going forward we'll continue. At least, hey, if the story falls off, it falls off. But we're gonna read issues.
But see, like, same thing. I feel like Iron Man series. I mean, at least from my experience with Brian Michael Bendis, that like after like 6, 7, after the issue, it's funny because the art changed on Riri on this issue. It was fucked up. The art is what held me back a little bit.
over. We ended that.
We were at the
end. And now we're just going off again. We'll see y'all next time. If it's more than likely, we'll have another episode. But the next one definitely will be.
We'll do number 2.
Yeah.
We'll do a follow-up issue.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if it stands strong. If the book stays strong, we'll
keep going with it.
Because I actually am a cape for Riri.
Because I really want to eventually get into a series where, like, to me, this would count. You got me to read this. Oh, it makes you read.
The next one's Aquaman.
Okay, whatever. I get whatever I want to, though.
Just know,
Alright.
I told somebody the other day, I am so happy when we walk out of
Please.
when we walk out of the Aquaman movie theater.